Hey, a lot of people talking about building generational wealth. We're in 2025. There's nothing more better than to be able to go ahead and do this here, to be able to build generational wealth for your family. But what if I told you it is a lot easier said than done? A lot of people are talking about building generational wealth. Can they really do it? Is it something that's achievable for a lot of people out there? Believe it or not, it's really not. And in this video, I want to go ahead and share with you guys some tips and strategies you need to know in order to not just have generational wealth be a buzzword, but something that you can actually take action in. So tune in and let's talk about it.
This conversation about building up your blueprint. It's time to take it cause time is wasted. Go grind and chase it, don't lose it. This generation need integration with information to move with. An inclination that is abiding in entertaining improvement.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Respect My Blueprint podcast, where we give you the blueprint on how to... You already know how to finish the sentence there. Thanks for tuning in to another dope episode. And today I want to go ahead and talk about something that's a very hot topic and trendy word now in 2025, but a lot of people are experiencing problems with this, which is the trendy word is generational wealth. And let's be honest, everybody likes to talk about wealth talk, building generational wealth and everything, but people are just not able to go ahead and follow through with this, right? We all read the quotes online and we all follow influencers, but are we really making the moves and making those money moves to be able to do so? Well, here's the secret. Here's the truth. Generational wealth is not just about money. Believe it or not, it's about building systems, ownership, and strategy. And not only that, building these things that can actually last, right? That can actually be transferable to the next generation. So today, I'm going to give you the blueprint on how to go ahead and start, scale, and secure generational wealth for yourself and your family. And even if you're first in your family to do so, if you're first generation or the first to be able to get into the world of entrepreneurship or learn these things, right? Guess what? I'm going to go ahead and teach you some excellent strategies and tips that you need to keep in mind so you'll be able to go ahead and keep the ball rolling for your family tree. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. First things first is mindset, right? And I say this in a lot of my videos, which the body follows the mind. So it's legacy over luxury. This is before you chase any assets, the first thing you need to do is have your intentions and your priorities in order. Now, this is a famous quote from Stephen Covey in his book where it teaches you begin with the end in mind. And what that ultimately means is that before you start building your generational wealth journey, you want to be able to have a good roadmap or blueprint in order for you to be able to go ahead and have the course outlined for you, right? You wouldn't build a house without having a blueprint in place first. So the same thing goes when you're embarking on your entrepreneurship or your generational wealth journey in terms of decades, not days here. This is actually what is the long-term strategy that you have in mind for you and your family, right? So you want to determine what are the things you want to sacrifice now in order for you to go ahead and build that legacy later. These are the things that should be in your mindset now, because believe it or not, only 36% of Americans actually have a written financial plan. That's about a third of the country. And those who do are almost twice as likely to be able to have long-term control over their money as well as put in a position to generational wealth for themselves. So the statistics are there that having a written plan, having the end goal in mind is going to put you in a stronger position to secure that generational wealth that you're looking for. All right. Also, build wealth so your kids have to beg, borrow, or start from scratch, right? We all have heard the cliche and we all follow the cliche. We want to do better for our kids. We want our kids to have the opportunities that we never had growing up, right? And believe it or not, almost 77% of adults say they've changed their spending habits based upon the fears of what's going on with the economy. And believe it or not, 28% are actually working on their financial literacy. So again, that's only nearly a third of the Americans in this country are actually taking action to secure their financial freedom. So you want to be able to not be in the You don't want to be in a position where you're starting too late. And what I mean by that is start with your children, right? Have them start having these conversations, start building the legacy early. So again, think in terms of decades, not days, when you're starting to go ahead and embark on this journey. All right. Number two, and something's very important as well too, own something that pays you, right? Now, this is very important. This is another strategy here, is that you can't pass down a paycheck, right? You can only pass down assets. Working at a job is you're trading in your hours for dollars, and that right there is not going to cut it. So what you want to be able to do is start focusing and building up your asset portfolio that you can actually hand down to your children and the next generation. And a lot of different strategies out there. There's a lot of different options that you can go ahead and explore despite what your situation is or your financial circumstances, right? There's, of course, real estate. Real estate is the most popular and common staple option that a lot of people exercise or get into in order to build generational wealth for themselves, right? Think about it. You can't make more land. So obviously there's a scarcity aspect when it comes to real estate, right? Believe it or not, there's actually a recent survey that says home ownership rate has fell nearly 65% in the first quarter of this year, all right, which is the lowest level since 2019. So this right here underscores the power of having to own real estate, because more and more people are renting nowadays, right? So you want to be on the side of where you're owning property, you're owning real estate, so you'll be able to go ahead and, since we're in a renter's economy now, you'll be able to go ahead and build generational wealth for yourself by having an asset that you can hand down to the next generation. Also, doing online education and mentorship, doing things such as courses, webinars, selling your intellectual property. Digital assets are where the online education market is projected to reach over $94 billion in 2025. Yes, I said again, $94 billion. So this highlights the income potential of things such as courses, ebooks, online brands. These are things that you can end up starting to build a legacy for yourself, building a platform. And guess what? After it's thriving, is scaling, is growing, you can go ahead and transfer this to your children and have them pick up the torch and keep the legacy going. Also, there's things such as stocks, passive income, stocks, bonds, and things like that. These are other things that you will be able to hand down as you're looking to build generational wealth for yourself. So again, owning something that pays you is another great strategy on how to build generational wealth for yourself. All right. Number three, another tip you need to know is teaching your kids what school obviously are not. This is so profound here because, listen, I've been a big advocate of trying to go ahead and have the school system implement more financial literacy and credit literacy within their curriculum, right? It's without a shadow of a doubt, most kids, when they enter into early adulthood, just don't know the basic blueprint or the basic knowledge of financial literacy. So guess what, parents, dads, moms, it is up to you to pick up where the school is falling off at, right? As a matter of fact, another statistic that I have here, only 54% of US adults say they know a fair amount of personal finance. But guess what? Only 19% of those adults say they have learned it from school. So that's less than a quarter of the adult population have learned any aspect of personal finance through the education system. So guess what? You want to be able to go ahead and sit down and have these conversations with your children on budgeting, how credit works, how money works, how entrepreneurship works, right? Because guess what? They are not learning this in school. As they're learning economics and as they're learning science and math and all of these other curriculums and subjects that may not ultimately benefit them in life or may not play any relevance in their lifetime. But guess what? You and I both know that personal finance is ultimately going to play a huge factor in their lives. If the school is not teaching them, it's your job to go ahead and do. All right. Next up is another important topic that is very important in building generational wealth is life insurance, right? Because life insurance is wealth insurance. Nobody really talks about this enough. As a matter of fact, only 51% of Americans report owning at least one life insurance policy. But yet, 42% of them say that they would like to go ahead and learn more or obtain more coverage for their policy. So that's nearly half of Americans in this country own any type of life insurance policy. That number needs to be up to 80-90% if you want my perspective on it, because life insurance is the cheat code for the wealthy. It's not only instrument that can be used to benefit you upon your afterlife, but it is something that has also astronomical benefits throughout the term of your policy while you're actually living as well too, right? Now, of course, I'm not a financial advisor, and this video is for entertainment purposes. You definitely want to connect with a financial advisor, a life insurance agent, anyone who's well versed and knowledgeable about this particular topic here, as it'll give you more insight on the extreme benefits on how you'll be able to not take advantage of a life insurance policy, but also use it as a tool to leverage generational wealth for yourself and your family as well too. All right, so set up a life insurance policy, sit down with the representative and have them explain to you how you'll be able to leverage it to build wealth for you and your family. Now, another topic where now that people are not talking about that they need to include in their generational wealth strategy, which is starting a trust fund or estate planning, right? Now, listen, the key word here is trust fund, not GoFundMe trust, right? Okay. And when it comes to estate planning, we're talking about wills, trust, estate planning. I know this is not sexy. I know it's boring. Trust me, I get it. Okay. But these are the things that are necessary if you want to be able to go ahead and protect yourself, to set you and your family up for the next generation, right? Because person, right, where your assets end up becoming a court battle, right? And your family is fighting over all of your assets, right? So again, like I mentioned with the last point, hire an estate attorney. It's very inexpensive. Also, there's platforms out there where you could also set up estate planning for yourself. There's things such as creating a trust or creating a will. These are things that are very inexpensive, and if you want my opinion, very straightforward and easy to set up, that be able to go ahead and save a lot of headache in the future, right? Because believe it or not, 82% of Americans agree that estate planning is important. However, only 30% actually have a will and 11% have a trust. Okay, so this leaves countless families in a vulnerable position for probate battles. And guess what? Who ends up suffering when it's all said and done? 9 times out of 10, your family, because the court, attorneys, and all of these other people that are not involved end up getting a lion's share of your assets, where all of it should actually be going to your kids and your family. All right. The next thing on what you will need to know about when it comes to building generational wealth is building multiple streams of income. Passive income. This is the engine that ends up going to drive building generational wealth for yourself, okay? As compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. And a recent survey has found out over 65% of millionaires have at least 3 distinct income streams that actually helps them build wealth outside of their main income. 3 income streams that they use to supplement or add on to their main income source. So that lets you know that we're in a day and age where you can be able to go ahead and create multiple streams of income for yourself. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to go on 3-4 different areas or entertain 3-4 different ideas. It means is whatever your main source of income, go ahead and leverage and splinter off from that main source of income, right? So if you specialize in a particular product or service, guess what? See if you can go ahead and create a platform where you're doing a mentorship, selling digital products, or you're doing an online business of that particular specialized skill set or that specialized product that you have, right? These are ways where you can be able to diversify your income portfolio, and you'll be able to, again, hand this down to your children and the next generation here. okay? So there's plenty of different ways how you could be able to take advantage of this, and I highly encourage it. This will help you to be able to not put all of your eggs in one basket, and also you'll be able to go ahead and add more income, which will ultimately lead compound interest growing for you and your family. All right. Also, beginning with the end in mind, you want to build a business that makes sure that it outlives you. Okay. When it comes to a 9 to 5, guess what? That 9 to 5 starts at 9 o'clock, and when does it end? At 5 o'clock. But a business, it can run for generations. And a statistic that I want to share with everyone here is that roughly about 40% of U.S. family businesses make it into the second generation. 13% is able to go to the third generation. Only 4% is able to make it beyond the fourth, right? So as you can see, the numbers start dwindling as you're getting to the later and later on generations. And so therefore, you want to be able to go ahead and build a business that can outlast you. How you do that? Of course, creating systems, building SOPs, hiring leaders, documenting everything, creating an actual business and not having a business that's either in your mind or that is largely unstructured. This is a easy way to be able to go ahead and be one of the businesses that falls within a short amount of time or that's not able to make it past the first generation. So again, begin with the end in mind. As you're building your business, make sure that you have the proper KPIs in place. Make sure you have the proper individuals, leaders in place, and the SOPs in place. So guess what? You have a properly structured business that you can hand down to your children and they can hand down to the kids, and it could be able to go ahead and build generational wealth for you and your family. All right. And last but not least is having conversations. Conversation saves a nation and builds a nation. These are conversations that you want to have at the dinner table with your children. No wealth plan survives if the family is not involved, right? So teach things such as unity, shared goals. This is another great way to be able to get your children involved, and you can keep the business within the family if possible. Now, we all know that as kids grow, they're going to go ahead and want to do their own thing. They may want to be able to explore the world. That's fine and dandy, but there's going to be a point in time where more than likely they're going to want to come back home, or they're going to want to get involved in the family business. So you want to be able to have them get involved at an early age, get them intertwined in the business, understand the business. Don't force it upon them, but there's going to be an important time where guess what? They're actually going to have a profound interest in the business, and you never know. They are going to be the ones that end up picking up the torch and moving on. All right. Hey guys, I hope you was able to go ahead and take a lot of the great information that I was able to share in this video. Generational wealth is something that's becoming more and more prominent nowadays because we are in the day and age of information. No longer is an era where we're prohibited from being able to access like this, but now that it's in front of you, you have easy access to it. There's really no excuses. With more and more people that are living paycheck to paycheck and just being able to get by, I want to be able to close that gap and provide you with the knowledge that you need to help yourself, position your family to be able to go ahead and make something for yourselves and build generational wealth. At least I can say that, hey, I've given you the information and I've put you in a position to do. Now, all it takes is for you to be able to put action behind it. All right. But other than that, if you got a lot of great value from, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, as well as drop a comment. Tell me what are your thoughts about the tips that I dropped today. And also hit the like button as well too, as it helps me able to produce more content like this and push this video to a wider. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, we're going to catch you on the flip side. Take care. Bye-bye.
This conversation about building up your blueprint. It's time to take it cause time is wasted. Go grind and chase it, don't lose it. This generation need integration with information to move with. An inclination that is abiding in entertaining improvement. Yep, West Paul with Blueprint. His guests are exclusive. Get on and tune in and then learn some new tips about credit, finance, investment. A nice chance to get rich and buy land. Flip it, quick 9 bands. Learn all the skills from West, he did it. Learn how to build successful business. Run up a mill and get the digits. Run up a mill. Look, safe place where guests are speaking. Based off financial freedom. All facts, no cap, believe it. Podcast, you have to see it.